Yeah, so we started out with trying to get the slide positions and stuff down, which is hard for someone that hasn't played trombone before. So we just took the first four notes of the first two measures and we put them together just to get that fourth position to first position motion down there.
D, C. So it's going to be first position, second position, fourth position, and then first with the trigger. So I'm gonna play those four notes, and you just finger along with me so you can get that on your.
Yeah, so I found it useful. It was a really good tool for while I was playing and modeling for him. He was fingering along and getting the slide positions down and stuff, and it really improved his play as we went along. Just getting the slide positions under his fingers and the consistency of that placement on the slide.
Yeah, let me just hear you play that. Yeah, let's try to. I'm gonna put those two measures together, and then you just repeat after me. You don't have to play the last one, but try that. One, two. Yeah, that's good. Try to move your slide a little bit faster. There's a little bit of a gloopiness and stuff in there, but that's just the nature.
Yeah, so a common theme across our lesson was the slide technique and moving the slide faster. As it went along, it got better, but we worked a lot on trying to alleviate some of the glissando in between the notes by moving our slide more quickly, and we'll do some more exercises with that as the lesson goes along.
Second position. And then to the C with first and trigger.
Yeah, my student had a really good ear as we every time we played together, it seemed like he was adjusting rather quickly, so that made it a lot easier to lock things in. I could tell he had a really good ear.
Yeah, that's good. Let's put those two measures together. I'm gonna play that, and then you do a call and response.
Yeah, so a lot of it just to get the slide technique going. We were taking small sections to begin and slowly added them together, but it really helped breaking it down like that to get the positions exactly right.
Yeah, that sounded good. Be a little just a little snappier, but you don't have to be as snappy when you're coming in the first position. That loud clank, you kind of just try to have to put it right before it hits it. But no, that's good. Let's try that measure together. One, two. Yeah. Now we're gonna do for the next phrase, we're gonna do that same scale, but we're gonna have 3 quarter notes at the end of it. So I'm gonna show you what that sounds like. So the same way we ended the last time, it's gonna be the same way.
Yeah, most of this work too was to work on the transitions in between the measures on the slide, because at first it seemed difficult for him to make the large leaps on the slide, and so I wanted to really work on getting that down. Yeah, there were a few times where I found it really helpful to kind of just to sit back and spectate and let him kind of work it out, because I feel like the trombone with the nature of the slide and everything's a feel instrument. Sometimes you just have to practice it on your own. So I wanted to give him that time to do that, and it proved very effective.
So the next part of the piece is actually going to be that exact same thing. So now we're going to try to put that all together, and we're going to play. I'm going to play the piece. I'm going to play the whole piece for you, and then you're just going to repeat after me, but it's going to be the exact same thing twice over.
Yeah, so after fingering along and playing it that slow, it's already his positions are locking in much better than when we started. He's starting to develop the muscle memory already.
Same tempo, right under tempo with the stomp our feet. Yeah. Now let's try to play that together. 1, 2. Yeah, great. Let's try to do that. There's one little transitionary thing that we're still having trouble with. So let's do those last 3 notes of the first phrase, and then we're going to go straight from that A to the F and do that descending scale. So it's going to sound like this. My valve gets stuck.
Yeah, so the first time we played it together, I noticed he was having trouble with this transition. Right here is a pretty large interval, so I tried to break it down straight to that transition and just work on going between those 2 measures. And as we went along, it got better and better. But I could tell that the large interval was a struggle at first.
Yeah, that sounded great. Can you try that by yourself? I'll count to it. 1, 2, and 1. Yeah, that's great. So let's try the piece again together all the way through and see if we can get that transition down in context. All right, so ready? Let's try to do that same descending scale again, and we're gonna land on the D. So we're gonna play 3 notes descending because it seems like our D is consistently not locking in there. So let's try.
Yeah, I noticed. So this part we broke down and we're landing on the concert D for intonation purposes because I could notice that every time we were playing that was a position that wasn't getting consistently in the same place, and I could tell as we were playing together. So I had him play the notes slowly and just land on that note and try to find the intonation and lock in the where the 4th position is.
Yeah, that was really good. So now that we have the whole thing learned, we're gonna try to add a little musicality and stuff to it because it's kind of boring right now. So I'm gonna try to model some musical ideas, and I'm gonna see if you can pick up on what I'm doing. I'm gonna ask you after, and then we're gonna see if we can put that together.
Yeah. So this was something I tried him to get him more engaged a little bit as we started adding in the musicality in the piece after we learned the notes and rhythms and everything. So I had at this point I played the piece and I did something different musically that we hadn't before, and I asked him to tell me what it was that he thought I was doing, and he picked up on it pretty well.
Yeah. So each of those 8th note figures.
Yeah, I noticed he knew exactly what I was doing, but didn't exactly have like a way of explaining it other than modeling it for me. But I thought that was interesting.
So everything's going to lead to those. So let's try to play that together and see if you can really exaggerate that and just lead to those quarter notes. Let's try that together. A little slower. Ready?
Yeah, I felt like at this point when we were talking about the musical things we could do, I found myself repeating similar terminology, like exaggerating the dynamics and exaggerating the music, things like that. So I think I could broaden up my my terminology a little bit and try to explain it in a different way.
Let's try to do just the quarter notes and then lead to the first
Yeah, so one of the musical things that we talked about incorporating into the piece was they had a recurring eighth note descending scale on D minor, and we were trying to work to push through that and crescendo through the eighth notes, and that was one of the musical things we were trying to incorporate. So right here we just isolated that, and yeah, we were playing it together, trying to lead to the push through those with our air and lead to the quarter notes.
Yeah, that part was really good. So now I want you to play that by yourself and really exaggerate those musical ideas that we talked about. So on the quarter notes, a little more articulation on those and really bring those out, and then just grow through all those eighth note figures. And I'll count you off as I.
Yeah, another thing we were looking for, I just mentioned to it, and I think we're gonna talk about it a little later in the video, but along with pushing through the eighth notes, I was asking for a little firmer articulation on the quarter notes and to really bring those out and accentuate those. So we were working on that, and I had him audiate as we were singing the note on ta. I had him do that a few times so he could feel how you're supposed to articulate those notes, and we did it on the mouthpiece at the beginning of the video as well.
There you go. That's all right. Let's just try those. Let's just try the first that first phrase. And really bring out those musical ideas. Ready?
I was actually surprised at how little I had him actually take out and use the mouthpiece. I think that's a really good tool to break that down and take out the mouthpiece and do phrases of music just on the mouthpiece. But it seemed like the pitches and the connectivity of the notes wasn't really the problem, so I didn't find it necessary. Mainly just breaking the music down and getting the slide positions and everything under his fingers was more what he needed. We also didn't really get up to tempo in the piece until the very end, and so once we actually did go get up to tempo, it felt like he was really comfortable with all the changes and moving the slide because he had practiced it and developed that muscle memory a little under tempo for most of the lesson.
Let's see what you sound like on that. Yeah. If you do it like that, it's gonna sound great. So now we're gonna go a little faster. We're gonna try to get it up to tempo now. And I'm gonna play it with you, and we're gonna do all those musical things.
Yeah, so as we put the piece all together here, I felt the need to show a little reinforcement on the musicality and everything because it seemed like if I didn't talk about it, the crescendos and where we were leading to and as far as the climax of the piece seemed to be forgotten. So I felt the need to reinforce that almost every time we played, as along with the posture and everything after we learned the piece.
So show me where that is. Yeah, it's actually a little high. Yeah. Perfect. And just try as best you can, just lock it in right there every time. But okay, so that's good. Now we're gonna try to you're gonna try to do the whole piece by yourself, keeping in mind the let's get our posture, get on the end of our seats, feet flat on the floor, with our chest and everything up so we can breathe fully. And show me your